33-story hotel and condo project.
I'd probably be
Okay,
like
like
that.
stop, tap.
This is a plan by the community for the community.
This one here. Show me.
No problem, Ken. Thanks for having me.
It's Kent Mulgat for Kelowna Now. Joined by Lucas Griffin from SecureRite, a company that makes these storage containers, portable storage containers, out of steel, right?
Correct, yeah.
Quite a business. We see a lot of companies competing, and it seems to be quite a growth area.
It is. It's interesting. We started the company 13 years ago, and at the time it was just starting to take off. In the States it had been quite popular for years, but in Canada there was only one, maybe two companies doing it when we started, and we thought we're going to bring a white collar, a real professional feel to maybe a blue collar business, and since then, the last 13 years, we've seen incredible growth as a company, but also as an industry. There's more competitors, and I'm a believer that competition's a good thing. We all help each other be better at what we do, and we serve the customer better, and it's quite an established industry now.
And initially, I guess the idea was that this is a great way to store, whether it's waste or building materials and things, that it's portable and you've got an instant place to store stuff, right? That was the initial purpose. But then it seems like every time I turn around, I see these things being repurposed for all sorts of things.
Right, yeah. So just to maybe touch on a few of the more standard uses of the container, yeah, job site storage, tools, equipment, and supply. If we can protect your tools and stop one tool a month from being stolen, you're actually saving money by renting a container. We do door-to-door home moves, which again, this has been a neat shift in the business where originally we would work with maybe smaller homes, middle-income homes, and early adopters. Now it's widespread adopted. We are sometimes delivering 3 large containers to a home, mansions down by the lake. People are using this because it makes so much sense. We deliver to you, you take your time loading, we pick it up whenever you tell us to, store it until your next home is ready, and then deliver it then. So that whole industry has grown. We also do commercial storage, businesses that just need more space.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're not just providing the container, you're also providing the storage element as well.
Correct.
So instead of taking all your stuff down to a storage facility, you load it on site and then you come and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, now what about these repurposes? Swimming pools, homes, is your company into that as well?
We do, yeah. Our modification division is very, very busy. We do everything from simple modifications like a roll-up door in the side, all the way to homes, as you mentioned. Office containers are very popular for construction sites, and we're working on some really neat projects right now. We just finished a spill containment unit for a gold mine in northern BC. We're working on a big office order for a pipeline. We did a really neat trade show unit where the walls open up and the roof lifts up and there's TV screens on each one. So you imagine it and we'll build it. We're having a lot of fun with that, and it's a growing division as well.
Okay, now with all of these uses, there's certain ways that these containers can be misused, and these steel container units made news for the wrong reasons a few times when. Because they're so well contained, so well sealed, if you're putting stuff in there that has, vapor, gasoline, fuels, other things, they can be dangerous. So if your person's going to use it for storing certain kinds of things, can they be modified for better ventilation, or what do you suggest there?
Great, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And that's another way our industry has changed. There were, back in 2011 and 2013, there were a couple of really sad stories about these containers with vapors in exploding and causing damage, and in one case a loss of life. So as an industry, we're a very professional industry. We have an industry organization called the National Portable Storage Association, and we share ideas, and we're always pushing each other's companies to get better. And so after those incidents, a few changes were made. One was with our new boxes, we install more vents. So coming out of the factory, our containers used to have 2 vents, now they have 8. When we know people are storing, maybe buying a used container to store construction material in, we're encouraging more ventilation. So we've made a lot of changes as an industry. And what I thought was really neat, when WCB just came out with their recommendations, they were citing examples from 2011 and 2013 because there haven't been any since then.
Right.
So I think as an industry, that shows that we've done a good job educating our customers and making the necessary modifications to these units.
So, but fumes inside these things tend to gather, depending on what it is, from the ground up at times. And so are the vents also positioned differently? Because I think if they're just at the top, you could still have a pool of vapor, right?
Yeah,
so
good point. And so when we put vents in, there's typically vents down near the floor as well as up near the ceiling. And so that creates a circular flow. Okay. And makes a big difference to moving those fumes out of the container at whatever level they're at.
So if you've got that proper ventilation, then would it be safe to like put things like a lawnmower and that sort of thing in there then, if it's properly ventilated like that?
Yeah, so it has to be properly ventilated for sure. But one of the great uses of a container is for stuff like lawnmowers and other power tools at a site for maintenance or whatever. So yes, if we hear as a company that's what you're planning to put in it, we're going to want to tick some boxes with you about the type of ventilation it has.
And maybe even add ventilation. If that's its purpose, let's make sure it's extra ventilated.
Exactly, yeah.
So in Kelowna in particular, we have this seemingly unsolvable issue of homelessness. And I think I've heard mention a few times that small homes or some of these repurposed containers could be maybe part of the solution. What could you say about that?
I love the sounds of that, for sure. We feel that they could be part of the solution. There's been a few different takes on it, and it's hard to find one that still gives dignity to the homeless people that we're trying to integrate back into society. But I think it's achievable. We saw one case in Vancouver where a guy took a container and chopped it into 6 compartments with a bed, and better than nothing, but it didn't feel like a home.
Yeah.
We have some designs, and we have talked to some different societies here in Kelowna and down in the Lower Mainland. Some really neat designs out of containers. They can be set in such a way where they're offset. You can create a neat design with modern architecture, steel, glass, and wood, and provide affordable homes for these homeless ones. And I think it's a great part of the solution anyways.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how that looks. It's one thing to see a sort of a concept. Now put 100 people into these things all in one place. How is it going to look when it's being used? I guess you could make a believer out of me, but you're saying some of the designs look good.
They do. They look good, and one of them has a central courtyard where you've got green space inside in the center, and an opening to the sky, and lots of glass. So who's ever in their unit is. There's a lot of light coming in. It can be done well in terms of putting that many people in a small footprint area. I'm don't have a social worker background, but I'm sure there's other ways. We had one design where there was central spaces, so like a games room and a pool area, as I said, the inner courtyard. So there's a lot of different takes that could be brought into this solution.
Right. Kelowna Now did a feature a while back about a really neat-looking house that had been made out of one of these, and it looked great. But at that point, the cost of it was about the same as just building a carriage home. But we were saying prior to this that cost, as it gets, there's economies of scale, I guess. It's getting a little less expensive, perhaps, than traditional building. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, so as you say, that home that you did the story on, beautiful home, very well done, but it was the same price per square foot as traditional buildings. So the big question mark is why? Yeah. So we feel that you can still do a good job with these homes, but we should be able to come in about 20% under traditional construction costs. The reason for that is there's some savings when it comes to foundation. It's different than what you need for a wood frame building. And then there's some other neat aspects like the modular aspect. We build it off-site, bring it to site, so setup time is very, very quick.
Right.
So those are some of the spin-off benefits of container homes or carriage homes.
So you could save money, and the real beauty of it is that it's almost instantaneous as compared to the slow process of putting the wood together to build in the traditional fashion.
In traditional neighborhoods, the neighborhood's already built. people don't really want to listen to saws and hammers and
Right.
trucks for a few months, whereas this, a week, and you're probably basically done set up.
They look great from the front. Around the side, it's a matter of taste. Is there any pushback for people not wanting to see the back end of that metal structure in yards?
Cool. Good question. People ask that a lot, and we have some really neat exterior finish options. So some people want to celebrate the steel and the corrugation, the
Well,
glass.
that is a look, too.
It is a look, and it's a cool look. But if that look's not for you, we can do siding, we can do stucco.
You can doll them up.
We can dress them up however
Yeah.
you want. You bet.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, how much of that we see as time goes on, but it's a growth business, it sounds like.
It is, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't think it's really even come into its own yet. There's very few companies that are CSA certified. Secure Right is one of them. So we're certified to build homes to the modular home code. And I think it's a trend that still hasn't even come into its own yet. I think we'll see some more growth there.
Terrific. Lucas, thanks very much for
Thanks,
coming in.
Ken.
Lucas
Yeah.
Griffin from Secure Right. And you're watching Kelowna Now.